Welcome to this explainer. Today we are diving straight into a massive shift in retail, specifically tailored for furniture manufacturers, showroom owners, and interior brands. We're going to look at how augmented reality, or AR, technology is just completely transforming the industry. We'll be exploring a high-conversion AR catalog solution developed by InfraXplore, and we'll unpack exactly how it's allowing businesses to infinitely expand their catalog space without adding a single square foot of physical real estate. By helping customers visualize 3D products in true-to-life scale, brands are literally skyrocketing their conversions. If you're in the interior space, you already know the stakes are high, so let's get right into the data and the solutions.
Okay, let's start with a universal pain point. Will it even fit in my room? And will it actually look right? We've all been there, right? Measuring a corner 3 times, squinting at an empty space, and playing this mental game of Tetris with a sofa, just crossing our fingers and hoping for the best. Buying furniture online is inherently risky for the consumer. You're asking them to make a really high-value purchase based on flat, 2D images, and even with exact measurements provided on a website, a lot of shoppers still find it incredibly difficult to picture how a product is actually going to look inside their own homes. And that hesitation? It leads us to a concept known as the imagination gap. It's that paralyzing uncertainty customers face when they're trying to visualize the scale, the fit, and the look of big-ticket items like beds, wardrobes, or sofas in their own personal space. Because they lack confidence, this gap in imagination leads directly to postponed decisions, completely abandoned shopping carts, and honestly, worst of all for your bottom line, costly returns when the expectations they built up in their heads just don't meet reality once the item actually arrives.
So we're experiencing a massive paradigm shift right now. We are moving completely out of the era of guessing and right into the era of seeing. Relying on static images means relying on a customer's imagination, which, as we just discussed, leads to high return rates. The era of seeing, on the other hand, is all about interactive 3D placement and confident buying. We're shifting entirely away from imagination-based e-commerce to experience-based retail. Customers want absolute certainty before they buy, not guesswork.
Section 1. Enter the InfraXplore solution. So how do we actually bridge this gap? Let's take a look at the custom augmented reality catalog developed by InfraXplore, specifically their FurniXplore platform.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the heavy emphasis on customization. The source material makes it super clear. This is not a generic catalog where you just drop it in a bunch of stock models. For showroom owners, this means you can build your exact product range into a fully interactive digital showroom, which virtually expands your floor space into infinity. Every single design, every texture, like the specific wood grain or fabric weave, and every metallic finish is modeled specifically for your brand. It essentially turns a flat catalog into a deeply interactive extension of your physical showroom.
This tech builds a completely frictionless user journey in 3 really simple steps. First, the customer just scans any page of their catalog using a smartphone or tablet. Second, the product instantly pops up in 3D right in front of them, letting them rotate it, check out the design, and scrutinize the finish before they even think about clicking order. And step 3, which is where the real magic happens, they place the furniture in their actual room at a true, real-world scale to see exactly how it looks and exactly where it fits. The crucial takeaway from the research here is beautifully simple. Customers move from guessing to seeing. By eliminating the ambiguity of online shopping, you are directly empowering your buyers to make highly confident decisions. For the customer, it means absolutely no more guessing. And for the brand, it means far more confident buyers and significantly fewer returns.
Moving on to Section 2, transforming the customer experience. Let's break down exactly how this technology fundamentally changes the way your customers interact with your products on both a psychological and a practical level. By offering these capabilities, a static catalog suddenly becomes a very dynamic tool. First up, you get real-time room visualization. Because the AR uses true-to-scale placement, customers can check the spacing, the alignment, and the overall fit perfectly in context. Second is instant personalization. A wooden table might look darker or lighter depending on a room's actual lighting. AR lets customers experiment with colors, finishes, and materials right there in their own living room. And finally, it creates a connected retail journey. A shopper can explore online, visualize the item at home using AR, and then visit your physical store for final confirmation, which links the online and offline worlds completely seamlessly.
All right, Section 3, bottom line business benefits. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. How does this actually impact the bottom line? So let's look at the hard industry data.
Get this, a staggering 40% of customers explicitly state they are willing to pay more for a product if a retailer offers an augmented reality experience. That is a massive premium being placed, purely on the confidence that AR provides.
And when you look at where market demand is currently sitting, the winner is incredibly clear. Furniture is the single most popular genre for AR shopping, clocking in at 60%. It beats out clothing at 55% and groceries at 39%. The furniture sector is leading the charge here simply because the pain point of sizing and spatial visualization is just so much higher here than in any other industry.
Furthermore, 72% of customers actually bought more than they initially planned just because they were able to interact with an AR app. I mean, think about that for a second. Because they could visualize the items so clearly and confidently, their shopping carts actually grew.
When you compile all this data, the business outcomes for manufacturers and interior brands are crystal clear. You get increased conversion rates because there's just less indecision holding the buyer back. You get dramatically reduced product returns because there are no awkward surprises for the delivery team when the truck arrives. You get higher customer engagement, which means increased dwell time on your apps and websites. And finally, offering this tech creates much stronger brand positioning, giving you a modern, innovative, and highly customer-focused image. Basically, AR drives sales up and it drives costly return logistics down.
Section 4. Implementing your AR strategy. So the benefits are undeniable, but how do you actually incorporate this without totally overwhelming your operations? Let's find out.
First things first, you've got to choose your delivery method. You're essentially balancing two paths here. Web AR allows users to visualize furniture straight from a web browser, using frameworks like Wall, so absolutely no app downloads required. It's perfect for low-friction, immediate access. On the other hand, app-based AR is embedded in dedicated mobile apps. While it does require a download, it offers much more advanced features and is fantastic for driving deep brand engagement and long-term loyalty among your returning customers.
To ensure a successful rollout, the sources outline a really clear roadmap. Step 1. Don't boil the ocean. Start with high-impact products where size and fit matter the absolute most. We're talking your sofas, your beds, and dining tables. Step 2. Prioritize photorealistic accuracy. Your 3D models absolutely must closely mirror real-world dimensions, materials, and colors to build trust. Poor rendering just creates more confusion. And step 3, keep the experience incredibly simple. Use familiar gestures like pinch and drag, and make sure you actually market the feature clearly on your product pages so customers actually know it exists.
And hey, if you make this leap, you certainly won't be alone. Major industry players and niche innovators alike are already proving this model works. IKEA was an early pioneer with their IKEA Place app. Wayfair embeds AR directly into their Room View feature. Amazon uses AR View for easy product comparison. And brands like KizTag are working with developers like the Intellify to create highly specific AR experiences for complex visualization, like custom kitchens. The main point here is that AI is rapidly becoming a core retail standard rather than just an optional tech gimmick. I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought for today's explainer. As the entire furniture industry shifts from guessing to experiencing, is your catalog ready for reality? The data clearly shows your customers are demanding certainty. It is time to stop making them guess and start letting them see. Thank you so much for joining me for this breakdown on the AR catalog revolution.